What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be doing a tier list of, in my opinion, a tier list that potentially is going to be winning Game of the Year, but the soundtrack. So I'm not going to be ranking the games. If I am missing out any games, please post that in the comments down below. I am going to be doing towards the end of the year, I'm going to be doing like a final one, but this is, we're just over halfway through 2025. So this is going to be like a halfway mark, if you will. So if I am missing out on any games, I like post down in the comments. I'll add them to the tier list, and we will go from there. But this is my reaction for the games that I've heard slash played, reacted to maybe on my own channel on your own channel here. But S tier is going to win Game of the Year or nominated. A tier has a great soundtrack. Don't think it takes it over the edge. B tier is has a good soundtrack, nowhere near. And then C is just good soundtrack, but certainly. And then D is like don't ask, don't bother, haven't heard of it, haven't listened to it, can't judge it. Basically, the games that I haven't heard, games I haven't played. But I thought this is like a fun little video to do. I'm going to update this as well, on the 20 cross, around the award ceremony, like react to the awards as well as tier list. So let's get into it. Starting off with Oblivion. So this is a remaster of you know the Oblivion. Uh, I'm gonna put it in the A category because while it does remaster the soundtrack and it's a remaster of the whole game, it's that same. You know, uh, it has that same feeling as the old game and like the fantasy music. And I did react to it on my channel. You could go and look. I did react to it. So the fantasy soundtrack is absolutely great. And the Scroll series is massive and it's huge. But I think it might not get nominated because it is like a little bit of a carbon copy. Avowed. Mm. Now, I did react to an Avowed soundtrack and I did like it, but is it going to get nominated? I don't think it will. I think it has Game of the Year potential, but I do not know. But it has a phenomenal main menu soundtrack as well, like the dark fantasy element in the soundtrack. Haven't heard of the game. Haven't heard of the game. Haven't heard the score. So I'm gonna put in like don't ask. Now, don't ask doesn't mean I'm like being mean. It just I haven't heard of the game, so I think it's fair to put it in there. Maybe it gives an option to do a reaction to it. Split Fiction. Split Fiction. I don't think Split Fiction is going to get nominated. I don't think Split Fiction has a better soundtrack than Avowed or Oblivion. I don't know. This one is a puzzler because I like the split screen, the duality, in co-op, bringing friends and that type of stuff. The storyline's incredible, but I don't think the soundtrack was as prominent or as, if you look at Oblivion or Avowed, how like big and how epic it is in scale. I don't think it was supposed to be that. But the retro sense, the kind of percussion of Split Fiction, I think is above. I don't think it's going to get nominated. Monster Hunter. I don't think I've reacted to a Monster Hunter, so I'm going to put it in there because I haven't heard of it. I, I've heard of it, but I haven't reacted to it, so I can't really form an opinion. And then, obviously, in my opinion, the banker of what's going to win uh, Game of the Year for best soundtrack, uh, for even best sound design. You know, the scape, the ambience, the vocals of this game in terms of the soundtrack. And you have, of course, the storyline and the game. But for me, what's going to get nominated, but not even nominated, but win, is Expedition 33. You know, this game took the internet by storm. It was, undeniably, honestly, a banker as well. The minute I heard "clear up, scrub at it" like that which became like TikTok, became and even in Gamescom, we did a reaction to the live performance. Sounds even better in live performance as well. I think not only is going to win 2025, but it is going to get nominated. It is a banker. It is easily going to be there. Klebsker Expedition 33. Even just the story behind the scenes and, the devs, the composer, like, if it does not win soundtrack, I'm not about Game of the Year as well, because I even think Klebsker is going to win Game of the Year. Like, it's going to dominate. But if it doesn't win, I will riot and protest for them. Citizen Sleeper 2. Um, I played it because it came on Game Pass. Um, I'm gonna put it just underneath because I think it has the same sound esque scape of the synths, the retro uh synths. I think at times they can get so bogged down in gaming, how the synthesizers and the percussions and like, I think it gets a bit too much. So I'm gonna put it under there. But I think it has a good soundtrack, but I don't think it's anything to really like. Oh my god, Game of the Year! Wait, it's a good game. Nothing really. Doom: The Dark Ages. Of course, it's gonna get nominated. Might not win, but it's gonna get nominated. And why do I think that? The music. We've done countless reactions. It has it has a much more better soundscape than Eternal. It has a much more sound. The sound design is top notch as well. But the way that the composers were able to utilize the kind of the rock feel into its soundtrack, I think better than any of the other games. I think Doom: The Dark Ages is a step in the right direction in terms of the sound world. As the game as well, it's a fucking phenomenal game. How it utilizes the score as well to the cutscenes and the cinematics. I mean, just that, like, when you see the Slayer land and just like, just the big, Doom is all about it's a fast paced kind of shooter. It's hype. It's momentum, and I think the soundtrack really leans into it, but it takes it leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. Blueprints. I'm gonna put Blueprints there because I know it's getting some buzz. I've not personally reacted to it, so I can't really judge it. So I'm gonna put it in Don't Ask. Now, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Um, excluding the controversy that this game had prior to the launch and how people were blowing this game out of proportion and calling this game the bloody devil and all of this type of stuff. I truly believe we don't deal with any of that stuff on this channel. We judge the soundtrack. I do reactions, and I've done countless of reactions to Assassin's Creed Shadows, even some recommendations that the community, you guys have recommended me in terms of the Assassin's Creed Shadows as well. But I think that it's on that level. It's a great soundtrack, but I don't think it has even the edge to throw it into, the game of the year contention. I don't think it ranks up here, but I think the soundtrack is by far one of my favorites of 2025. Haven't heard of this game, haven't reacted to it, so I'm going to leave it there. Same with that as well. Now, Elden Ring, I'm going to put in this category because I haven't reacted to it, but I did do an Elden Ring reaction and I do like it. But because I haven't reacted to it, I'm going to put it there. Don't get mad at me. Gives us more content, gives me more content to do. And I'm making a part 2 as well. So call this a part 1. But I still want your comments down below where you would put these games. Or in terms of soundtrack, remember guys, I'm not judging the game, judging the soundtrack. Atomfall, I would have it as a split fiction. I think it has like a Fallout-esque. I think the premise of the game is fantastic, but I think the soundtrack uh is a bit like split friction at times. I don't think that was the intention. I don't think it's soundtrack centered. Whereas these games, I would say they are. They need the soundtrack to be popping. Three more. Dune Awakening, I would put there because I don't think that's the whole point of Dune Awakening. I think it has a good soundtrack, but I don't think that. I think it's an open world. You're not supposed to be taking in. You're supposed to be taking more of the sound design and the soundscape of the world. Alters. Ooh, I've played the game. I think it's pretty much the same there. It's kind of a little bit of an open world game, exploration. It doesn't like, from the times I was playing the game, I don't think the soundtrack was prominent. Death Stranding 2, Death Stranding 2, you talk about visual experience, the soundtrack is phenomenal. I haven't reacted to it. It's in one of my pipelines, but I think just on the visuals and how you know that's there. I think it's going to be nominated for game of the year, game soundtrack of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my reactions of games that have taken by me by storm of 2025. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Remember, I'm not judging the game, I'm judging the soundtrack and how it affected me. Don't If you're a fan of these games, don't be discouraged because I haven't heard it. Either I haven't heard of the game or I haven't reacted, so I can't really form an opinion or assessment. And the reason why I put this here is because while I've not listened to the soundtrack, just past, they have great soundtracks. It has great soundtracks, and Dune Awakening is kind of the same as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my game soundtrack of the year tier list 2025 so far, part 1. At the end of the year, we'll drop part 2. But until then, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment down below, and until next time, bye bye.